Greetings, friendos, and welcome back to the Ox Lair. So, for today's video, I would first like to start off by saying that, well, obviously you know what it is from the title over here. But before that, I want to say that I'm honestly very impressed with General Mills for having gone off on a limb to start making all these different things based off of their cereals. Like, well, they're monster cereals. Like, for starters, I believe last year we had the Count Chocula cereal bars, which unfortunately I saw them in store, but I never wound up picking them up for some unghoulish reason. But then they've also got the fruit snacks that they came out with, and then last year they had the Monster Mash cereal that they came out with, which again, unfortunately, I didn't get to try because I couldn't track down a box of the stuff. Pardon. It's been a little bit of a long day for yours ghoulie. So, I wanted to start today off by just being thankful for the fact that it is this wondrous, beautiful time of year once again. The time for the creeps and the time for the heebie-jeebies. But in the fun way. So, as I was starting off by saying, General Mills has been allowing other companies to dabble into their monster cereals. Pardon? to dabble into their monster cereals. Dipping their toes in on the franchises and trying things with the different characters. Like, as I was saying initially, case in point, as you already know from the title down below, right over here, the subject of today's video, the Pillsbury Monsters Shape Sugar Cookies. Now, one thing I will say is I'm a little disappointed with this. Because with the monster cereals, who are the main three? I think I heard someone say them, but for starters, for my sake, let's go ahead and just run through them. Usually, it's Frankenberry, Booberry, and Count Chocula cereals. But, unfortunately, which on the one hand I kind of understand why they did this, they only have Count Chocula and Frankenberry as cereals here. Booberry got completely shoved off to the side. Whew, I am a little tired, as I mentioned before. It has been a long day. A very long day. I don't know why I'm going into the Count Chocula voice again all of a sudden. But anyway, for today's video, we're going to be taking a look at and tasting the Pillsbury ready-to-bake monster cookies shaped like the, I almost said Universal, shaped like the General Mills monster cereals characters. Now, one thing that I'm kind of interested in is this right here. Safe to eat raw. So, you know what that means, boils and ghouls. I'm going to be trying this before it gets baked, and then I'm going to be trying these after they get baked. So without further ado, let's just phase on over to the kitchen and just get started with this. Ready, steady, go! Ah, here we are, back in the kitchen. It's been a while. It's been a good long while since I've recorded anything in here. So anyways, when it comes to the Pillsbury ready-to-bake sugar cookie monster shapes, the first thing you're going to need to do is find yourself a conventional oven and be sure to preheat that sucker to 350 degrees. Then the next thing you'll want to do is you'll want to place them on an ungreased cookie sheet. Well, the cookie sheets we have around here, they're they've been used quite a bit, so they don't quite have the, how should I put it, the camera presence you would like them to have, you know, the baked on goop and stuff. So what we're going to do instead of just having a plain one is I already have one right here with some parchment paper ready to go. And with these you bake them for 12 to 14 minutes, and the cookie surface edges will be a pale color. Do not overbake. Cool for 1 minute before removing from cookie sheet. Cookies will spread only slightly. For great recipes and cookie ideas, visit us at Pillsbury.com. Not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so before I actually take these out of the box and we get this thing going, let's go over the nutrition facts. So the nutrition facts are as follows. There are 10 servings per container, and each serving is 2 cookies or 26 grams. And the amount of calories for your 2 cookie 26 gram serving is 110. Now one thing I like on the back of the box here, just get a little bit of a zoom in on that for y'all. Count Chocula baked delicious chocolate flavored cookies. Frankenberry baked sweet berry flavored cookies. But who baked the most cookies? Find all the cookies and count them up to find out. We'll do that while this is baking. So now before this stuff gets any more thawed, because it's had a little bit of time to do such while I've been running around getting things set up, let's go ahead and open the box. And I should also mention it's a very flat box. Pop the seal on that. Come on. They glued that one side really well. And from the box we pull out a little container of cookies. Now before I go popping this into the oven, I'm going to take a quick look. See, let's dare to compare. Here's what the ones on the packaging looks like. Not too bad. Frankenberry there is looking a little worse for wear. And now we take a look at the actual dough rounds. I would say these are actually better looking than the ones on the box. But that's before they were baked. And one thing I'm going to do before we even put these into the oven is first I'm going to put them on the cookie sheet. And then I'm going to try one raw. Because it does say, as I pointed out earlier, that these are apparently, supposedly, safe to eat raw. So I set the box off to the side. Whoosh! And now I open this like a bag of cereal or potato chips. Ooh. You can already smell the berry and the cocoa flavorings. Alright, so now we take the bag and we throw it away. And the stupid thing came right back to me and landed on the floor right at my feet. Go away, I do not want you anymore. Alright, so as it's set on the box, there should be 20 here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. There are in fact 20 here. And we're going to go ahead and they're kind of doughy. I'm going to just unceremoniously plop them down onto the pan. Mind your ears, folks. Come on. There we are. One of the Count Choculas tried to stick around a little bit longer than he should have. Okay, there's those 4. Da, da, da. I have a feeling I'm supposed to be spreading these out a little bit, so I'm going to try and do that. Just want to get them flipped over first, because the back of the cookies, as evidenced down here, do not look quite as good as the front of the cookies over here. Okay, now we spin this thing around so they're facing the right way. Break up these ones that are still stuck together. And give them a little bit of breathing room. Elbow room, elbow room. Like that old Schoolhouse Rock song used to say. Alright, let's go, let's go. Up 2, 3 cookies, up 2, 3 cookies, and there we go. Get that parchment back down to where it's evenly spaced. And now, against my better judgment, I'm going to try this one raw. So, here we go. Now, to you at home, I do not recommend doing this unless it says that it's safe to do so on the packaging. But honestly, Frankenberry there, that's not bad. He's got a nice fruity strawberry kind of flavoring to him. And for the sake of keeping things even, I'm also going to take a bite out of Count Chocula, the way that Scruff McGruff took a bite out of crime. The Count Chocula ones aren't bad either. Okay. So the oven should be preheated by now. And so I'm going to pop these into the oven and then double check how long I'm supposed to bake them, and then we'll get this show on the road. This is why you don't throw the packaging away right away, folks. 12 to 14 minutes. We'll start off at 12, because this is a very good and very, in my honest opinion, powerful oven. It's gas powered, and 90% of the time putting stuff in the oven, even without preheating, this thing will, you have to take a couple minutes off, otherwise it'll overcook it at the when it's set to bake for the appropriate allotted amount of time. Alright, so bake time, crank that over to 12 minutes. And so, while this is doing its thing, I'll grab that packaging again for the third time now, and we'll go over the amount of cookies on the back of the box. One moment. Okay, so who baked it best, Frankenberry or Count Chocula? So, as you might recall, when I read this a few moments ago, we're supposed to go through the amount of cookies on the back of the box and try and figure out who made the, who made the most cookies. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wait, I'm getting myself mixed up. Let's start over here by Frankenberry's elbow. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, don't mind that was just the oven, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 for Frankenberry. So let's see, start over here also next to Frankenberry and start counting the Count Chocula cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Count Chocula wins by 1 cookie. Alright. So now that we got that nonsense out of the way, let's go ahead and get a nice time lapse. Actually, we're not even going to do a time lapse. We're just going to jump straight to when the cookies are done and I'm pulling them out of the oven. So with that said, let's go. Woo! Alright. Let's get a look at those cookies and see if they're actually ready yet. Oh, yep, those are definitely done. At least the ones on the outside edge, the bottom is starting to get a little golden brown. A little over golden brown. So we're just going to quickly turn that off. Move this packaging out of the way. And always remember, viewers, that if you're doing stuff with the oven, you always need to wear protection. Get a look at that action. Like I was saying, the ones on the end were getting a little dark. Alright, so now we set this down on the stovetop. They do smell nice. If only this was smell-o-vision, I would be sharing that warm, sugar cookie aroma with you all. So now let's double check the back of the box. It says let them cool for 1 minute. I'm going to give them 3. So we're going to go over here to the kitchen timer. 1, 2, 3. Hopefully that's, oh, that was seconds. There. 3 minutes. So, in the meantime, while that's going on, I don't know, how y'all doing? Personally, I'm doing okay. It's been one of those long kind of years where I've just been itching to get back to doing this content. You have no idea. Because doing that other junk that I usually do, which kind of leads into this, where I'm, reviewing weird foods and stuff, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't hold the same esteem to me as doing this kind. It's just something special about this time of year, you know? You have the leaves changing, you have the days getting shorter, you have the days getting colder. It's no longer you have the sun beaming down on you like some kid with a magnifying glass. It just becomes such this nice time of year. I'm not entirely sure why I feel this way about, September, October, November. Maybe it's the way I was raised. My mother, she was obsessed with Halloween and the whole Halloween season. We would always watch the Halloween specials this time of year. We would catch either, I forget if we saw this on television while it was being re-aired or if this was just some old videotape we had recorded, but Disney's Halloween Treat, we would watch that every year. We would watch, what was it, Witch's Night Out, aka Witch Magic Halloween, the Will Vinton claymation comedy of horrors. We would watch all the specials. And I really wish I still had those tapes. They just held so many special memories. We even had the 1995 Nickelodeon Nick or Treat. Almost the entire thing, if not the entire 5-hour, 6-hour special. The memories. That's the one thing that I love most about this time of year, now that I actually think down on it. Just the memories associated with it. Alright, we have less than 30 seconds. So I'm going to toss the box over onto the table, and once that finishes counting down, I'm going to grab the 2 cookies that I bit off of before they were cooked, and then I'm going to put all the rest onto a little plate, pour myself a glass of milk, and we'll get this thing going right. Alright, here we go. I should probably use a spatula for this. And so, I will. That's 2 Frankenberry cookies, 2 Count Choculas. Oh, uh-oh. One of the Frankenberries, we broke one. Frankenberries. Couple Count Chocula. I think I might not have baked these quite long enough. They seem a little soft baked. No, they're definitely baked enough. They're just still really warm and really gooey. Break off of there, Count Chocula. There we go. There we are. And now we're off to the table. So here we are back again in my office at the nice little table that we have set up here. So as stated previously, we have our cookies, and I have the two that I already bit off of before I started baking, as well as my skull goblet filled with milk, which I just spilled on the floor and on my friggin' Corky doll. Corky, I'm sorry, I did not mean to get that on your clothes. One moment, folks.
It ain't easy being cheesy.
Alright, now I stick that up in his pant leg to help absorb the rest of the milk. And I'll probably put his clothes through the washer again at some point soon. Regardless, I do have the thing of milk, which I'm going to now move so it's not so precariously balanced over top of that collectible that may or may not be evil. Okay, so as stated before, when raw, these were fairly decent. Let's see if they still hold up when they're baked and ever so slightly overdone. There we go. Okay. Frankenberry is still good. Wish you wouldn't have gotten a little overdone, but it's still quite an edible cookie. Now let's see if Count Chocula fared any better, or worse. This one, even with the slight overdoneness and a slight, ever so slight burns, and still tastes basically exactly like he did before I put him through the oven. Now, chocolate and strawberry together. I approve. One moment while I get myself a drink. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the Pillsbury Monsters shaped sugar cookie dough and the actual cookies you make from this, I would say that I do in fact recommend these. They're quite good, especially for store-bought Pillsbury cookie dough. Because, no offense to Pillsbury, if anyone from Pillsbury happens to actually watch this particular video, but your sugar cookies are hit and miss. Sometimes they're great, other times you can taste the preservatives. Which I can understand to an extent. You gotta make sure that thing's gonna last on the store shelves while it's waiting for someone to come along and go, ooh, that looks interesting, and buy it and take it home. With that said, well, I should actually do a comparison of the cookies on the box versus the cookies as they came out of the oven. So we'll start with Frankenberry. I'm only going to go one at a time because, well, I've only got two hands until they perfect that surgery I'm waiting for. So there's Frankenberry, and here's the cookie the actual cookie version. And I gotta say, not bad, not bad. I do think it looks even more like Frankenberry than the other one did. Also, unfortunately, I hate my brain sometimes. I should get Francis to get me a new one. But as much as it pains me to say, he kind of looks like a pink Shrek. Now that I got that out of the way, let's move on to Count Chocula. Let's see how well he fared. So again, on the box versus in real life. So they turned him kind of like that. I'd say that's pretty close. That is pretty close. And this is one of those ones that got just the proper amount of doneness that I like, where it's still gooey enough that it's bending in my hand. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you all can find the Pillsbury Monsters shape cookie dough, I do in fact recommend you go out and buy yourself a box of these. Especially if you've got like a, let's say your kid has a party coming up at school, or say if you just want these cookies for yourself, just go and grab them. They're good. Well, flavor-wise they're good. I'm not sure how good these are for you, but a couple of cookies wouldn't hurt. With that said, I'm going to finish this one off because I love the cookie. Love to eat cookies when they're still kind of gooey and warm. I'll have to have one more Frankenberry to make sure it's even, and then stop, because they're that good. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, boys, ghouls, and all other macabre manner of being, thank you all so very much for watching. I do greatly appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Later.